For the number 10, I choose the X9 portable system. I must say, if you look at the build quality, and this is the reason why I'm putting this on number 10. Simply because the build quality is not bad at all. It feels quite sturdy and it's pretty comfortable to play because of the size. The D-pad itself, it's not the best. Not because there are 4 separate buttons, no, because more like a combination of the touch, the form of the buttons, because I have played on some systems that has, let's say, not one button for the D-pad and still plays very nice with fighting games. The screen itself, it's a pretty big screen if you compare it with all the previous models, so it's really not bad at all. The view angle, it's decent, but that is what you can expect from a product for this price range. So don't confuse it with EPS, and the colors are quite good. So the emulation is not perfect. There are some platforms that are not working very well. For example, that they're having this frame drops or a lot of, let's put it this way, it's got a lot of problems and it's not a perfect emulation machine. But yeah, for the money we cannot complain. The battery, it's not detachable, so if you want to upgrade it in the future, that is not possible. So that is a very negative side of this X9. So, but still, it's a very fun product, and that's the reason I'm giving it number 10 in this year. Alright, so for the number 9, I choose the X16. It's a very popular 7-inch portable system. The build quality, it's not bad at all, but again, if you look at the buttons, the analog stick, it's not the best. The D-pad, I'm not a big fan of it, but it plays very well because of the form factor of the buttons. But analog sticks, yeah, they're feeling very, very cheap. The 7-inch screen is quite nice, but the view angle is pretty damn poor. And I think because of this cheap device having a bigger screen, we are going to lose quality. So we're never going to get a 7-inch EPS screen nowadays for the money. So it's really very comfortable system because of the size, and I think that is something that a lot of people will like about it. The software and the emulation, it is not very well, not at all. It got some serious issues. Some games are running pretty damn poor. Some are just speeding up. I don't know what's going on with this, but the emulation is not the best. The battery life, it's quite good, but the negative thing again is you cannot remove it. So if you want to replace it, you need to open up the system itself. Alright, so for the 8th position, I choose the Powkiddy number 3. This is the S model, so this means that they have a bigger screen. It's got a very good build quality, it feels quite light. And the buttons, the D-pad itself, it's not bad at all, but analog stick have a very cheap touch to it. But you can play some fighting games with the D-pad if you want. So the button response, quite good. The screen is what you can expect from the system like this, and it has a removable battery. I must say, it's quite comfortable to play, and if you look at the emulation itself, it's not bad at all. It doesn't run every platform perfectly, and that's the reason why it is on this position. But I know if they're still selling it with this software, maybe in the future they can change and swap out the software so it emulates the games a little bit better. For the money, I think again we can't complain, and it is a quite cool device to enjoy your old games. You can even watch some videos, listen to music and make a horrible picture. But that's of course not the point, because we are focusing it on the games itself. So this is what you're going to get with the Powkiddy 3S. It's a quite old system, one of the oldest in this list. So keep in mind, that's the reason why I'm thinking this is more like a poor emulation, but the overall, it's not bad at all. Alright, so for this number 7 position, I choose this Polaroid 7-inch Android tablet. Or better said, gaming tablet. The reason why I chose this, because the build quality. It's quite good, it feels very sturdy, it feels quite heavy. The button response is very nice, even the analog sticks feel like a quality product. It's running on Android, it's quite old version, so that's a little bit of a bummer. The screen is good, it got a very nice screen, it's slightly better than the X16 7-inch screen. and it's of course very comfortable to play. The only thing what I have with the system, this has this rubber compound, and that is, you know what's going on with this. So I think, why did you do this? I understand for more grip, but nowadays it ages a little bit and the rubbery compound is getting a little bit sticky. So the software itself, it's an older Android version. It can be installed with some emulators, and I must say it runs quite good. Not perfect at all, but it's a very cheap device like the X16. So this is the reason I'm giving it this position. The battery is not attachable like a lot of these systems, so that's, I think, a very big negative side. But again, a nice tablet. It's got a very nice touch. Nowadays it's very hard to find. Maybe you can pick it up from eBay. Maybe it will come across AliExpress. I don't know. We need to see it in the future. But I'm giving this position to this tablet. And for the number 6 position, I choose the Bitboy version number 3. I think this is, if you look at the form factor, a very cute portable system. It's tiny, it's small, so it fits easy in your pocket. But if you look at how comfortable it is, if you're having big hands, on the long run, it's not going to be very comfortable. What I do like about this Bitboy, it has a very beautiful EPS screen. It's colorful, it's very sharp if it comes to the image. It's running on Open Dingus, so this means you can add and remove emulators, you can add games, and you can play a lot of awesome homebrew games. I'm a big fan of the homebrew games, and I think that is something that gives this little mini machine an extra. The battery, it's removable, so if you want to replace it with a bigger one, or you just want to replace it because it's broken, it's very easy to do. So that is the reason why I'm giving this position to the Bitboy version number 3. It's a cool mini collectible, and you can play some awesome games on it. Alright, so for the number 5 position, I'm choosing the Pocket Go. Let's go! I really like the design of this little mean machine. It's a little bit bigger, so it's a little bit more comfortable. It's still not a very huge portable system. The button got a very nice touch. It's not perfect, so don't get me wrong. It's got a very nice and beautiful EPS screen, only is a little bit tiny. It's running on the Open Dingus software, so this means you can add and do whatever you want. I think it's pretty cool, and again we can play some homebrew games. It doesn't have a removable battery like a lot of these portable systems, so that's a little bit of a negative part of this little mean machine. But in general, I think it's a very cool machine. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, but you have a very nice screen. It can play, let's say, a lot of games, and it runs them pretty decent. And for the number 4, I choose the LDK. This is still one of my favorite handhelds, and the reason why is because of the D-pad. The D-pad got a very nice touch. If you want to play some fighting games, this thing is really cool. The form factor, I think it's really cute, but in the long run, if you want to play some games for a very long time, it is not very cool. The screen itself, it's beautiful, it's colorful, it's an EPS, and I think it's really cool. The sound of this device, it's pretty loud and it's very good. Comfortable. So that's a little bit of a very negative side of this thing. But if you look at, for example, the emulation, it's running on the Open Dingus system. So that is pretty cool. So again, like a lot of these systems, you can add and remove emulators. You can just remove games. It's just a freedom we need to have on all of these systems. So it has a removable battery. You can upgrade it if you want and replace it very easily, and even you can swap out and upgrade the firmware very fast. So the LDK, I put it on this position because it's not perfect and it's flawed in many ways. But this is what you're going to get. And I know there are a lot of people who are having this thing and will enjoy it every single day. Alright, so for the number 3, I choose the LDK Landscape. And the reason why I choose the LDK Landscape over the LDK is pretty simple. The form factor is a little bit better than the original version. It's more comfortable if you want to play it for a long time. The touch of the buttons, it's very nice, a very decent analog stick. The battery is removable. You can, just the normal LDK, you can reach the SD card very easily if you want to upgrade it. And this one even has 2 very loud quality speakers because the sound is pretty damn awesome. It runs on the Retro FW and I think that is pretty cool. You have the option to add new programs, add new games, remove the emulators and do whatever you want. So I think this thing is a little bit better than the normal LDK. It still has this beautiful screen. It's less powerful if you compare this with the original LDK, but still I'm giving this a higher ranking. Simply because of the comfort. Well, if you want to play this a long time, this LDK landscape is a little bit better. And for the number 2 I choose the Retro Game 300. The reason why I choose this for the number 2 is very simple. Let's talk about the build quality. I think the build quality itself is pretty damn amazing for a cheap device like this. If you look at the quality, the buttons, the shoulder buttons are very clicky. I think that is very cool. It got a very nice D-pad, so if you want to play adventure games, beat 'em ups, fighting games, you can play them all very easily with this. The button got a very nice response. The shell itself is very comfortable to play for a very long time. It comes with this very huge 1800 mAh battery. That is something that I really like about it. You can swap out the software. You can very easily reach the internal SD card. Alright, so if you look at the software itself, like a lot of these systems, is running on OpenDingooks. So this means you can do whatever you want, add new games, remove emulators. That is pretty amazing. So that brings us to the screen itself. It got a decent view angle, it's not an ABS screen. It's quite big, but combined with the controls, I think you can really enjoy these old games on the go. So the Retro Game 300 brings it to the position number 2. And for the number 1 position, I have chosen the Retro Game. I'm showing here the full Retro Game family at this moment. I'm making a separate video about it because there are a lot of differences. But if you look at the body and the shell, most of the things are the same. Alright, so let's talk about the build quality. I really like the build quality. It got a very nice shell and it feels quite sturdy. The button response, the D-pad is very nice because you can play fighting games like it should be, in my opinion. And if you look at the analog stick, that is not with all the models. It feels quite nice. It's not compared with, let's say, in PlayStation Vita or on PSP. But for the money, I think we can't complain. The battery life depends also what kind of version you have, because the newer models have an 1800 mAh. And if I'm seeing it correctly, the older version has around 1500 mAh. All of these retro games have a very beautiful screen. I like to point out the older models, and there are some versions only having a 30 Hz FPS screen, and that is something you don't want to have. If it comes to software emulation, it can be a little bit different. Some versions are running on OpenDingooks and some having the Chinese software. But again, if you're buying the latest version, you will have the latest software on it. Alright, so I think this is the number 1 and the best handheld you can get for your money if it comes to, let's say, low budget Chinese handheld gaming. Let me know what you think, I really love to know. Well, thank you for watching, and keep in mind that you're buying the latest version. It's the most expensive of all the retro games, but you're going to get the best product for your money. Alright, I'm going to show you some honorable mentions. System that didn't get in the top 10, I just wanted to show you because it's fun. So stay tuned, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell, and don't forget to check out the gaming channel, and see you next time.